Hey guys, today I am back with another video. Of course, the weather is not that great, so my lighting is a little dark, and I'm sorry about that, but today this video is going to be a book review. I haven't done a book review in a while, but today's book review is going to be Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, and this is my first book of 2024, and it's the first book review of 2024. So, Ruthless Vows is by Rebecca Ross, and it is the sequel to Divine Rivals, and it's part of a duology, and the duology is the Letters of Enchantment duology. And if you don't know anything about Rebecca Ross, she also wrote A River Enchanted, which I have not read yet, but I have added to my TBR. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this book, which I'm super excited to talk about. So, Ruthless Vows starts off a couple weeks after the ending of Divine Rivals, and if you've read Divine Rivals, continue on, but if you have not read Divine Rivals, probably stop watching this video, because obviously you don't want to accidentally spoil something, but I'm going to do my best to not spoil the sequel for you guys if you have read it. But the book starts out a couple weeks after the Battle of Avalon Bluff, and obviously if you've read the book, you know Iris and Roman get separated, and we don't know much about where Roman is after the book ends, but Iris is back in Oath with her brother Forrest, and they're just kind of trying to figure out life again with each other. She kind of doesn't know what's going on through Forrest's head, so she's kind of struggling with that. She's also struggling with the fact that she has no clue where Roman is, and you actually find out he's kind of, in a way, he's kind of helping the enemy, but not on purpose. You kind of find that out, but Iris is back. She's still working at the Inkridden Tribune, and she's still writing these articles that are like teeing off the Chancellor, because the Chancellor does not like how she's actually giving people details about the war. He doesn't want them knowing Inva's forces and anything about that. But throughout the story, Iris and Roman, they're separated, but they are trying to figure out this war when they're apart. They're not together. And obviously they're stronger when they're together, but you kind of learn that they're strong even when they're separated, especially Iris in this book. So the sequel has the same characters from the first book. Obviously you have Iris and you have Roman, Addie, but we do have a new character, Tobias, and he's the motor car driver, and I think he's a very interesting character. He plays a significant role in the book, so I won't give away too much, but I definitely liked the addition of this new character. We also get to learn more about Inva and Dacre. I believe that's how you pronounce their names, but we learn more about the Divines. Throughout the book, we learn more about the myths, the legends of the Divines, and how this war kind of started, and all the backstory to it, and I really enjoyed getting to know the backstory to basically how the war started. And you know, this is obviously, they're trying to fight this war, and you need to understand why the war is even a thing. Also, in this book, we get to see a little more of Forrest and how he is coping since being under Dacre's rule, because he was taken by Dacre, had his memories erased, and got them back, and we get to see how he's coping with that. Obviously, he still has his injuries that he sustained while he was fighting for Inva's forces, and they're kind of coming back to bite him in the butt, because even though he was healed by Dacre, they weren't healed all the way. And you find out in the book why he heals people the way he does. And another character we get to see a little bit more of in this installment is Prindle. And if you don't remember who Prindle is, she's kind of like the assistant at the Gazette. And we get to see a little bit more of her, and she kind of joins in the gang in a way. And it was kind of interesting to get to see more of these kind of side characters that we didn't get to learn a lot about in the last book. Something I really enjoyed about Ruthless Vows is obviously the character development. Iris goes through a lot of changes in this book. I think she grows stronger as a writer, as a person, as someone in a relationship. I just love seeing how she grows throughout the storyline. And also Roman does change too, and their relationship grows in a way because they are separated. Obviously, you know, separation tends to kind of test a relationship. So I really enjoyed getting to see how all these different situations and predicaments help the characters grow. And I like how Rebecca Ross writes the character development for them. Something else I really liked about the book was how the plot was paced. It never felt rushed and it never felt like it was going too slow. It was just the perfect speed. It moved along in the most perfect way. And I think there was enough details, but not too many details to where we got too mixed up in all of that. I think she described every setting, every detail just perfectly. I love how she writes her books. And I also like the wording she uses, especially in the letters they write to each other. I think it just really draws you in and you feel the feelings of those characters. And that's something I really enjoy in my books, is to be able to feel what the characters are feeling. And Rebecca Ross is able to write these characters' emotions so well that I am able to feel what they are feeling. I also really enjoyed how we got to see both Iris's POV and Roman's POV, and I think that is such an important detail for this book because they are separated, and you learn in the book that there are some circumstances for Roman that are very important to the plot line. So seeing his POV is very helpful, and you also get to see the two different sides of the war because there's two different sides, and you get to learn more about Dacra's side and Imva's side because they are fighting each other, and the dual POVs do help. And I also like how the POVs aren't like one chapter is her POV, one chapter is his POV. They're kind of mixed in with the chapter, so you kind of see like what's going on in two different places at the same time, which is something I really enjoyed. And I also like how they continued like putting in the actual letters. We actually got to see the letters that they were sending to each other, which I think is such an important detail to this book. That's the whole basis of this book, is how two people come together with two magical typewriters. So obviously getting to see their letters was just such an important detail in this book. So I ended up rating this book 5 stars. Like, it was definitely a 5-star read for me. Everything about it was 5 stars. And this was my first 5-star read of 2024, which was super exciting. And I would definitely recommend this book to anyone who enjoys fantasy. Obviously, you read the first book before you read the Ruthless Vows, but the series as a whole was definitely 5 stars for me. Would definitely probably read it again, and I recommend it to anyone. This is a YA fantasy romance book, but I think you can read it whether you are a young adult or an adult. I think it's readable for both age groups, if you get what I'm saying, but I think everyone could enjoy this book. And I definitely recommend it to everyone, and I am so excited that I finally got to read it, and it definitely lived up to the hype. So that was my review for Ruthless Vows, and it was definitely worth the wait, definitely lived up to the hype, and was definitely worth a 5-star rating. So hopefully you can go ahead and read the Divine Rivals series. It's so good. You're definitely missing out if you haven't read it. And also, I even have my little shirt, my Inkridden Tribune shirt, and it says Dear Iris, and it's so cute, and I'll have that linked below. I got off Etsy. So until next time, see you guys.